Hello and welcome, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Let's begin with today's class. So, in today's class, we are going to study about some more features of our constitution, right? The first feature which we are going to study today is the fundamental rights and duties. As we all know that constitution provides the Indian citizens the basic fundamental rights which gives the citizens many rights and freedoms, as well as it also provides the citizen of India to fight for themselves. Fundamental rights are conferred to the people of India by the Constitution to live a dignified life. The most valuable capital of our country is in the overall development of nation, which further lies in fundamental duties and rights. Right to constitution remedies, and for the children 6 to 14 years of age, right to education are also made available. So we have many different rights which are also called as the basic rights of the people, and in that rights there are rights such as the constitutional remedies, right to constitutional remedies, which gives the citizens right to fight for their justice. Along with that, they also provide the Indian children who are between age of 16 to 14 years, they have the right to education as well. The next is the directive principles of state policy. Protection of people's security and welfare should be carried out by the states. These principles provides directions of state government and policy making, so they are called as directive principles. So the protection of people is also necessary, and the security and welfare of people should also be carried out by the state. These principles provide direction for state governance and policy making, so they are called as directive principles. So basically the constitution gives the state government also the administration. They gave them different policies to how they can run their states, and what are the different principles which they need to provide to the people of their state. Provision for backward sections and tribes. So there is many facilities, or you can tell many benefits who are in the backward classes, right, who are not rich, or those who are not able to educate themselves, and there are many reserved seats for people like that. To uplift and include backward sections and tribes and deprived class in the mainstream, there are specific provision in the constitution. So basically there are many different rights and provisions for the backward classes in our constitution. Reserved seats are allocated in legislature and local self-governing bodies election to provide representation. So they also have seats to stand up in the local self-governing bodies for election, and along with that, reservation quota has been provided for admission in educational institutes. So they also have reserved seats, some percent of reserved seats in the education institutes and government jobs as well, in the proportion to their population, to provide equal opportunity. So basically this all things are done to give all the Indian citizens, or all the people who are from India, they should get the equal opportunities, whether they are poor or rich, whether they are able or whether they have given all the equal opportunity which a person gets, which a person should deserve, right? Children of backward sections and tribes are given school scholarships, basic amenities, and waived fees, which come under optimistic policies and shared link policies as per provision in the constitution. So they have the children who are from the backward class, they have also been given scholarship and basic amenities and vivider fees, which come under optimistic policy. So this all thing comes under optimistic policy and settling policy as per the provision in the constitution. So over here our chapter gets completed. I'm going to give you the quick revision of the 14 basic features of our constitution. We'll just see the heading, which were the 14 basic features of the constitution, right? So the first one was, right, the written document. As we all know that our constitution is in the written form, that is why our constitution is given the most important document for our India. Second one was the size of constitution. There are many divisions in the constitution, there are many sections, there are many appendices, and they all are for both the state as well as the central government, right? There are many departments which are handed over by the state and which department are handed over by the central government. That all thing is mentioned in the constitution. The third one was single citizenship. So basically our country is given, our Indian people have given only one citizenship, that is Indian citizenship. But in the USA, that is United States of America, they have dual citizenship, that is the citizenship of their country as well as the citizenship where they live, that is their states, right? The center with strong federal structure. We have a very strong federal structure. We have unions of states. We have basically two governments, the central government and the state government, and this all thing is done to make our constitution to make our administration run smoothly. Along with that, we also had studied the three lists in which our organizations or many other departments have been divided, whether they are in the hands of union, whether they are in the hands of state, or whether they are in the hands of concurrent list. Concurrent list includes they have both the states vote, that is union and the state would vote together, decide the organizations which are there in concurrent list. They both take the decision in this thing. Along with that, we studied about the residuary powers, right? And then after that, we studied the unified arrangement during crisis. What would happen, or what would our country get converted when there would be any crisis or any emergencies. So most of the time when there is any emergency in our nation, our India is almost turned into a unitary system, which means only central government's order should be taken into considerations. Then next was the parliamentary system. We have the parliamentary system in that we have two houses, the upper house and the lower house. There were different rules for the upper house. There were also fixed tenure for both the houses. There was retirement system we studied about. Then the seventh one was the independent and impartial judiciary. The constitution has given us the independent and impartial judiciary, which means that any person is free to go and fight in the courts for their own justice. No one has been stopped for going into courts, right? We have, along with that, we also studied that we have three levels of court. The topmost is the Supreme Court, then the second one is the High Court, and that there comes different district courts and many other taluka level courts, right? After that, we studied amendments in constitution. We studied that our constitution is very flexible, as we can amend, which means we can change some of the things in our constitution. That is why our constitution is called as the flexible constitution. But to amend something in the constitution, we need to have a particular amount, a particular percentage of votes. Then our ninth point was universal adult suffrage, which means that every Indian citizen who is above 18 years of age have right to vote, right? Then next was the secularism, which told that there was no state, there is no any country religion or state religion. Each and every person of our India is free to choose his or her own religion. No one is forced to follow particular religion or a particular group, right? Then next was judicial review told that there are many characteristics of constitution, the administration, the working of union and state with jurisdiction, that every state or every country needs to work according to the constitution. If the state or country does not follow the constitution, they are being punished, and there are certain laws for that punishment. There are certain laws for breaking the rules of constitution. Fundamental rights and duties, we also studied that the basic fundamental rights are given in the constitution. Like the basic one which we heard is that the right to constitutional remedies, and other was right, the children has given right to education. Children between 16 to 14 age has right to education. Along with that, the next was that directive principles of state policy. This feature told that the Indian constitution protects the people, it secures the people of our India, and along with that, welfare should be declared out by the state. So this all thing is been done by our Indian. The constitution protects the people, it secures, and welfare is also being carried out by our states. The principles provide directions to the state government policies making, so they are called as directive principles. And there are certain policies which are to be declared by the state government, and that is why they are called as directive principles. The last one was the provision for backward sections. As I told you that our Indian constitution tells that right to equality, that is why they also provide equal opportunities to the backward classes and the tribes, the people who are poor, who are not able to educate themselves, who are not able to go further because of money or any other, because of their religion or any other thing. So our Indian constitution gives them an equal opportunity. They have reserved seats in all the departments, whether it is for local self government, whether it is in education, whether it is in government jobs, etc. All the places of government they have some reserved seats for the backward tribes, right? So that is why so that the people of India, all the people should get equal opportunity, right? So over here I'm going to stop with our chapter. As our chapter is completed, we'll write the exercise question and answers in our next class. Thank you.